like, I can't believe that we wasted time arguing and all of that, instead of us to be spending and taking advantage and creating memories with each other. Right now that we are apart, I'm wishing that we are together. But when we are together, we're taking each other for granted. We're taking our presence for granted. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele-Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. For a new subscriber, I love you, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Okay, does not clean the toilet seat and it's been getting to you. Before you know what is happening, you start to see the person as a dirty person, as a person who doesn't care about you and stuff like that, because that's how issues pile up. It comes from little things and then it becomes, you start to attribute it to the personality of the person, right? So you need to make sure that every time you're not sweeping issues, don't be afraid to fight. I remember the first big fight we had in our marriage. It happened less than a month, I think 2 weeks into marriage. Like, we had a very ugly fight that, after that we had to like put a 10 commandments that we pasted on our bedside, that we'll never do this and this and this when we are dating again. But guess what? That fight really helped us to come up with things we'll never do when we are fighting. Also helped us to like see things in different perspective, helped us to like understand ourselves. So we had the fight, but then we came together and we made it work. So don't be afraid. And I see this happening in marriage. Oh, I don't want to, we are new, I don't want to do this. I'm not saying that to call third party, you guys. I'm not saying that, right? But don't be afraid to say, a lot of people, they avoid saying how they are feeling because they are afraid that it will cause fight. What's the point of marriage if we cannot fight and trash it out? If we cannot, after fighting, we come back together and we make it work, right? So don't be afraid to have the fights, but make sure that you're not rude in how you're saying it. You're kind in trashing out issues, right? That's another point in its own, right? So that it doesn't escalate. So I'm not saying go and deliberately try to fight, but don't avoid issues because you're trying to avoid fights, because fights will happen in marriage. I'm not talking about fights that you're punching yourself or hitting yourself or causing bodily harm. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that disagreements, okay, let me use that word. Disagreements will happen and you need to be okay with that, because at the end of the day, what we are looking towards is a healthy relationship, right? So if I'm afraid of disagreement, then we will end up sweeping things under the carpet. But you see what happens is that soon the house will become dusty, soon it will be inhabitable, and soon all those things that is under the carpet will be pushed out, and then it will become a disaster. Because then instead of you to have dealt with the little first rag that went in there, it's now the pile of things that now when you're dealing with this, there's another thing under, and then it becomes very, very difficult. So please make it a habit. Start it from your first year of marriage to always trash out issues. Yes, it's not everything you will talk about, right? There are things that you should let go of, but it's not everything you let go of, right? Maybe you let go of it when you see a pattern. Please make sure that you talk about it, right? All right, so the next thing I was going to say is be kind in arguments. Be kind. God, that's one thing that I had to like learn. Me and my husband had to like learn that we can actually have arguments and be kind in what we say to each other, right? We can, and that's what I told you. The first fight actually taught us that we can actually have arguments and not call each other names. We can have arguments and not insult each other and not say things that would deliberately try to hurt each other. I tell you as a fact, in my first year of marriage, I was not really good. The two of us were not really good with that, right? So it's more like, oh, you said something that hurt me. Now I'm looking for something equally that would hurt you so that you can feel as hurt as I am. And then we start to exchange and you see what happens. You see, words are eggs. You can, when you say it, it's difficult for you. You cannot take it back, first of all, and the person has to start to heal and to understand. Somebody posted a message, a married woman in a forum I belong to, and she said during an argument, she said something very hurtful to her husband. I think she said, I can't remember, but she said something that hurt him, and she said it's been over a year since they had that fight and the man has still not been able to let it go. Now, first of all, you should be able to let things go, because everybody says things they don't mean when they are upset. It happens. So you need to be able to let things go. Oh gosh, that's another point. Okay, so let's start with be kind in your arguments. When things happen, with disagreement happen, misunderstanding happens, be kind in how you handle it and what you say. You can be upset and still be kind. And how to do that is to make sure that you remember who this person is. Even whilst you're fighting, remember, this is my wife, this is the person I want to spend the rest, this is the mother of my children, this is the father of my children. So when you're having that disagreement, remember who they are. It will help you. Don't see them as a monster who is trying to make your life miserable. See them as someone you're doing life with. It will help you to be kind. The other thing is resolve issues quickly. Yeah, resolve issues quickly. Don't see, if there's anything I've learned in the time that me and my husband have been, you know, apart, is that time is so important in marriage. I tell you, every minute is spent. I you know, one day I called my husband, we're talking like a normal talk, and I said that, imagine now we are like separated or we are apart and all of that, and I cannot believe that we wasted so much time keeping malice with each other in the house. Like, my husband would do something to me or I would do something to him, and the two of us would not talk to each other for days in the house. I think we've gone 4 days. I think that's the maximum we've gone without talking to each other in the house. Of course, my husband was like, they ask you, how was your day, or this, or me, I'm giving him attitude because he doesn't want to apologize for what he did, and I am not willing to let go, right? And then we start to disconnect, or something interesting happens. Sometimes I've almost gone to say, I'm like, no, we are fighting, so I won't say it. And then we waste time. But you see, those 7 days that we spent not talking to each other could have been spent creating memories, could have been spent, you know, just loving on each other. And now that we are apart for 1 year, we are looking for, and I kept telling that I can't believe that we spent of course not so much time. It wasn't like we're fighting every week or every month, but I was like, I can't believe that we wasted time arguing and all of that, instead of us to be spending and taking advantage and creating memories with each other. Right now that we are apart, you know, I'm wishing that we are together, but when we're together, we're taking each other for granted. We're taking our presence for granted sometimes, right? So that's what I'm saying, that, and that's something we improved a lot on, tremendously on, in our 2nd and 3rd year of marriage. Always make sure that you resolve issues quickly. Don't drag issues. Don't take one thing to next year. Resolve it as quickly as possible. And I know it's difficult, and it's something that, I know, in the last, you know, after our 1st year of marriage, even before our 1st year of marriage ended, we started to do, when issues happen and I'm upset and stuff like that, sometimes I can give him quiet attitude, but before we get home, or when we get home or something, we try as much as possible to come and talk about it, so that it doesn't go to the next day. Because when it gets to the next day, it has become malice. Now it's a matter of, if he loves me enough, you come and talk to me. If she loves me enough, she'll come and talk, and nobody's talking to anybody, and it's a scatter thing. So yeah, resolve issues as quickly as you want to, and be kind in your arguments. Don't say things that you cannot defend. If they call your family members and your husband or your wife repeated that you said this thing, you can't defend it in their presence, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, because words will always come back. Words will always come back to haunt you. Right? All right. The next thing that I have here is that don't stop dating. Don't stop dating. Don't everything, whatever you did when you were dating, don't stop doing it when you get married. So if you used to have movie nights, you used to go on dates, you used to, you know, buy her stuff, whatever thing you used to do that constituted dating for you when you were dating, don't stop doing it after marriage. Keep on dating yourself till the day you die. Okay? There was a random couple who was approached. They were approached on the street, and they asked them, what's the secret? They've been married for almost 60 something years or 40 something years, I can't remember, and they said they've never gone a week without going on a date. They always make sure they go on a date every week, and that's so healthy. I was telling my husband, you know, and dates does not always have to be expensive. Sometimes have a date in your house, right? A date can be a dinner date, you know, prepare something special, have a moment, have that time together. Always make sure that you date each other. Don't stop dating each other in marriage. Okay? All right, the next thing that I have here is that expect challenges. And I know that when I say this, it's almost unchristian, like, oh no, we always look forward to, and see, that's one of the reasons why a lot of marriages, you know, 1st year of marriage, they're already thinking, oh, I made a mistake, because you think marriage is a bed of roses. No. And yes, we all pray our marriage is a bed of roses, right? But you see, just like our relationship with God has bumps, your relationship with each other will have bumps, especially in your first few years of being married, because you're both 2 different people from 2 different cultures, 2 different backgrounds, raised in 2 different ways, coming together to try to build a family with your different values. Hopefully this most of your values are the same. There is no way that friction will not occur, but the idea is that, you know, you always fight together against the issue, right? Fight together against the issue. When you're trashing out the issue, don't make it about this is who you are, this is what you do and stuff like that. Make it, I've noticed you did this thing, or you've been reacting this way and stuff like, why is that the case? Can, you know, this is how it makes me feel. Can we stop? I'm not saying this is what you're supposed to do, because trust me, sometimes when you are angry, you don't even remember all those things, okay? But I'm just saying that always see yourself as a team fighting against a challenge. Challenges will happen in marriage, oh my sister, in case I didn't tell you, my brother, I'm telling you, in our I think that me and my husband will actually like sit down to do a realistic video of what our marriage was like in our first year, like no, not hiding anything, like literally saying it raw, what we went through. And you don't even want to know. Challenges will happen, but the idea is that always see yourself as a team. When those challenges came, sometimes it tested us, and that's the thing, those challenges will test you as a couple. It will test your love and your commitment to each other. But when it comes, we saw it as a test, and sometimes we didn't pass, but we eventually passed, right? I mean, we didn't pass in that at that very instant, but most times we all eventually, I mean, we are still here. Right? We always overcome them, right? So we always, I told my husband when we just got married, I don't even know if he still remembers, but I told him when we literally just got married, I told him that the way I see our marriage is that we are both in a boat with God, alone in the middle of a very wide ocean. Anything either of us do is going to, any wrong move from either of us is going to sink the boat. So I trust you enough to hold the pedal, and I want to believe that you trust me enough to hold the pedal, so that if I do anything, you know that if anything happens, the two of us, they sink. So I cannot deliberately want to do anything that will hurt you, because we know we are both going to sink in this boat. So that is how I see my marriage in my head. So when you see your relationship in that, you know, we are both in this together. When issues comes, when the storm and the waves come, when this, my husband say paddle this way, even if I don't think that's the way to paddle, I know that him saying I should paddle is not because he wants me to drown. It's because he's trying his best to resolve the issue. So if I don't think that, then I try to reason with him. I don't know if that is making sense to any of you, but yeah. Anyways, this video has to go up today, so I need to be fast. The last thing that I will talk about is be clear about responsibilities. Be clear about responsibilities, and that does not mean that I said be clear about it reduces friction. Sometimes the issue in marriage comes when you don't know, or you guys do not define what you are, and then you start to have unrealistic expectations about the other person. So you get into marriage and one person is complaining, hey, the house is not clean, hey, the bathroom is not washed, hey, something, and you are like, wait, it's not the two of us that live in this house. Why do you think it's my job to do it? Why do you think it's my job to do that? If that becomes an issue, please be clear about your responsibilities. And I know that, and because you're clear about it does not mean you don't help each other out, okay? So in my house, we know who is in charge of the kitchen. We know who is in charge of, you know, generator, for instance. When we are in Nigeria, we know who is in charge of, you know, the cleaning of the house, the cleaning of the bathroom and stuff like that. It does not now mean that because that is your job, I now leave it to you. No, that is where love and commitment now comes in. That in as much as I know that this is your job, I still give a hand. I still help you out in the kitchen. I still help you out to clean the bathroom. I still help you out to, you know, with the gen. It's not that there's no fuel and I know you'll be coming back later. And by the time you're back, you know, the person selling the fuel would have closed. It doesn't mean I now sit down and cross my leg and wait till you come. There are times I've carried 25, 30 liters fuel on my knee on top of Okadas, you know, because my husband was not there. So that's just the thing. You cannot say that because it's this person's job, then you just leave it. I mean, I remember then we used to have like scarcity of water, right? In Abuja, they would just, because, you know, it's the government that supplied us water when we're in Abuja. And it's my husband's job normally when there's, you know, scarcity to go and get water. So I will now, so there are days that maybe I saw a place that water is rushing. I will not leave it for him to come. No, right? So we always be helping each other, right? The final thing I will have here is don't fight who you are. Do not fight who the other person is fundamentally. And I'm saying this because in marriage, you know, we sometimes, because of there's so many ideologies about who a man should be, what a man should do, what a woman should do. There are a lot of voices telling you, as a woman, this is what you should not take. As a man, this is what you should not take. To the point where you start to fight who you have been created to be. As the woman, God created you to be a helper. As the man, you cannot be fighting the woman that because she's helping you. There are times that in her bid to help you, she might overdo it, and it might get on your nerves. But you have to realize that fundamentally who she is to you is a helper. And you, as the woman too, you cannot be fighting the man because that he's leading you. You married God made him your leader, your head. So you cannot be saying that you're always telling me to do this, you're always telling me to do that. I'm not saying that those issues will not happen in marriage, because I'll be a hypocrite. But I'm telling you that as much as possible, always don't fight fundamentally, because the person does not have a choice. That's who they are. I'm not talking about a person who feels like, oh, it's his job to discipline a woman, or to abuse a woman, or to talk down to a woman, or to disrespect a woman or a man. But don't fight who you are. If you know that your husband is a visionary, me and my husband have said it several times. My husband is a visionary. My husband can craft a future for us. I am not a visionary. I am a doer. The moment I feel like I need to do something, I don't think about it 2 times. As a matter of fact, when I feel like doing something, and that has caused friction sometimes in a marriage, because I think about something, I do it, and I forget to talk to my husband about it. In my mind, I'm thinking that he won't have a problem with it, and when I get home, I'll talk to him about it. But I've started putting plans in motion, and he's like, why didn't you talk to me about it? And I'm like, if I talk to you about it, then you have to think about it, and then before you know what's happening, fights don't happen. It took us a while to understand that, and truthfully, it's still something we are still working through, that he gets to understand that fundamentally I don't visionize, I don't see a vision. I do, right? And for me also, at a point, I used to be so frustrated at him, like, why? You said you would do this thing 2 years ago. Not 2 years ago. I'm exaggerating. But because I'm a person that once I think of an idea, give me 2 seconds, I've already started executing. I've started putting my YouTube channel. I didn't think about it. I said it in my first video. I was watching to Local Solutions page, and she made something. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this today, and I started the channel that day. When I feel like, when I want to start the Unashamed series, it just came to my head. I started reaching out to people. I didn't even plan my schedule. I didn't think I had time to interview people, but I started sending the invite. I started making an announcement, and it just happened. So that is who I am. My husband, for instance, he would think about it, come up with a plan and all of that, but it takes time for him to execute. So when we have a plan, or when he has a plan, I'm thinking, okay, this is what you should do when you do this, when you do. Sometimes it's like, why are you pressuring me? But what he's forgetting is that that's who I am. But sometimes he's also making plans, and I'm like, why are you sitting down there? Why haven't you done this? Because I'm forgetting that that's who he is. And the reason why we are together, the reason why God brought us together is so that we can complement each other. So that when I am trying to do things, and my husband has saved me from doing a lot of stupid things because I'm very impulsive sometimes. Say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And I think, it's true. And then I stop. And there are times that my husband, if I don't push him to do certain things, sometimes he would have missed some deadlines. That is why we are together as a couple. That's the essence of marriage. That in the place where he's weak, I am his strength. And in the place where I am weak, he's my strength. I was listening to Pastor Kingsley just right now, and I was talking about how that's a different video for another time. I feel like this last point is actually a different video for another time. But I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, leave a comment. I want to hear it. And if you think this is going to help somebody else who you probably don't even know on your timeline, please share this video with them. You never can tell who needs to hear this. If you have not liked this video, it's very, very important that you like, because when you like, YouTube will share this video to other people. And then please make sure that you share this video, leave a comment, even if it's just to say hi. Please leave a comment, okay, because that would also help my videos to get to more people. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful to you guys. God bless you guys so much for always coming back. Until we meet again, I still remain Victoria Ayedele Fash, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.